Well, you're here, Alice. It must be a bit heartbreaking, but well done.
Thank you. Yeah, look, it is good to be here in Hobart always, but heartbreaking is definitely one way to put it. We were pretty. It was a tough race. It was a really tough race, and lots of awesome things to take away from it. But the Derwent, oh man,
Does you in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let's just forget the Derwent for a moment, at least. Let's just talk about the rest of the race. So you talked beforehand about sort of how unpredictable this whole thing was. How did it end up panning out? Was it anywhere close to what you were imagining?
I think the first sort of half to three quarters of the race was pretty good. Where things got a little more unpredictable was when that trough came through off Tasmania. It just didn't really behave how I'd expected it would. We were sort of expecting this northerly change, and it just never came. But yeah, like apart from that, the race, it was as tricky as we thought it was going to be. It was as tricky as we thought it was going to be.
You've got a pretty good brains trust there, though, with Grant Simmer and a few others. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm amongst some awesome company. Like, I just pinch myself with the people on board.
So tell us just briefly, how does that actually work? You know, you're going into the start, you're out of the harbour. What sort of group and what sort of discussions, what are things that are getting talked about?
So before the race starts, like I'm doing a lot of discussion with the boys about what I think is going to happen with the forecast. I'm sending out the routing. We're having a lot of discussion about the game plan. And then for this race in particular, I was pretty much straight downstairs trying to get the new weather to try and figure out what was going to happen and what our goal was going to be for the first 24 hours. So I'll generally kind of collate all that information and then sit down with Grant, and we'll kind of bat ideas against each other and then share them with the rest of the team. Moffy always comes back with a few glamour tips with all his experience, so that's pretty cool, and Marcus as well, and young star Anthony Merrington. Absolutely amazing guy to start with.
So tell us, never mind being female, you're a very young navigator. There's a few young navigators coming through, Andy Green and others as well. For those who are thinking about it, what got you into it through sailing and so on? Why into navigation, and what are the things to really get yourself moving in that field?
I love that question because I think it's great. I think it's such an awesome part of the sport that hasn't always really been that accessible for younger people getting in. I feel like when I was, and still am growing up, it's always someone that's a bit older that hides in their little station and does their thing, but I think there's a really cool opportunity for people to take it on. I was lucky I had a mentor in Richard Hudson who owns Pretty Woman.
Oh, you sailed to Hobart with him, I remember.
I did. I've done a few Hobarts on that boat. Awesome guy, and he's, I was so fortunate to have a mentor like that who just sort of said, hey, are you interested in learning? And I was very interested and took it on. So between that and then doing some courses, Will Oxley's given me a lot of guidance. I've been lucky. I've had some great mentors.
And I take it you're from a STEM background, are you?
From
STEM background, you're science, technology and maths, yeah?
I'm actually a physio.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So you don't have to be a complete mathematician and physicist for this?
No, but you do definitely have to be interested in it and interested in the science, and also have an ability to take complex ideas and communicate them simply to people so that they understand what's going on.
Fantastic, Alice. Well done. There'll be plenty more, and we look forward to talking to you in perhaps slightly more rosier positions.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Well done.